second. I meant to get out a couple days ago, but got a little sidetracked with some stuff. So this will be the first time for the season, which started October 1st, so I'm running behind. But it doesn't matter because we're heading out there today. See what we can find. If not, just get out in the woods. I brought stuff to make some coffee. My lunch when I'm out here. See how that goes. It's supposed to be about a high of 50, I believe, today. It's 39 right now. So it should be fairly nice. Yesterday was a little cold. And of course on the 31st for Halloween, we had snow. So should go pretty well today. I'll get back to you when we get a little closer.
Turn left, then continue straight. Continue straight.
That's a new bridge. Barn. Looks like somebody left some pumpkins out for the deer. Be back with you in just a minute. The old North Turkeyfoot barn. There used to be a super large bridge here. It was always in not the greatest of shape. I'll slide in some pictures of it. Thing was spooky and beautiful, but eventually became unsafe. There had been an accident a long time ago, like a horse and a carriage went over. I don't know if it was that bridge or a previous bridge, and the driver was killed. There was a plaque for the longest time, and then there was no bridge for a few years, and now they have this bridge. So I usually come in on the other side, so this will actually be my first time going over the bridge. Surveyor's mark. Doesn't feel too bad right now. I think it's like 39 out. Yeah, this one got some sway to it. That was a little surprising. Oh yeah. Yeah, you can get this thing shaking. Doing, doing, doing. Alright, so we're going to try and find a nice spot to sit in for a little while, if I don't scare up any squirrels. I'll get back with you, and I'll show you the cemetery. So it's not too bad right now. About 39 degrees, I'm guessing. I didn't see any other cars in the lot. So, hunting with the A5 today. God bless John Browning. Yeah, I didn't see any cars. It's super quiet, so it is a Thursday. So I'm guessing I didn't expect much. But I'm trying to find a spot to lay into and just sit for a few and see what happens. So this front part here is close to Old 24. So there is some traffic. And then on the opposite side of this area is the river. So it's sort of sandwiched in between, but it's about 458 acres or so. And I think last year they ended up getting another 50 acres or something added to it. So it's nice to see people walking their dogs every once in a while. But I'm not sure, because they don't have a post anymore, but rules used to be Monday through Saturday hunting, and I think back then it was shotgun only, and Sunday was like a no hunting day. But there's pretty decently marked trails, and then you get off the trails themselves and get into it. There's a few videos on this place. I'll link to those. There was a channel I followed for a while, and it was, oh, looky there, nice scrape. Neat. There was a channel I followed. I'm not sure if he's still doing anything, but it was Dark Adventures or something. I'll link to it. But he went to the graveyard here a couple times. And then Sam Bananas, he's camped here a few times. He's a local to the area. I like his channel. Everything he does isn't perfect when he's camping or bushcrafting, so it makes him more realistic. Nothing wrong with the other channels with the professionals, but it's just nice to see somebody that might mess up every now and again, like normal folk. But I'm still trying to get up around the curve, head towards the river. There's a couple spots I like back there, so I'll get back to you. Big leaves. I've seen deer here every so often. Squirrel. Saw, I don't know, what we actually have in here, if it was a mink or a ferret or something along that line. I don't think we have fishers around here. The biggest thing is once you get back in here, you get in here early or you're staying late, is spiders come across this entire walkway and constantly having to knock them down or knock them off you. Doesn't seem too bad this morning. When we get up here, there's a curve, takes you down. Further up, then goes to the ranger station or office. Yeah, we're almost getting to the curve, and the curve will take us to the river. This is where the turn is. They had some large rocks to block the path so people don't get in there, but just past here, this goes up to the trail. What used to be a sign hanging on the tree over here. It was still here. It's here for years. I got pictures of it. I can't remember what it says. Looks like somebody took it down. It's like a homemade sign. I'll have to check my old views. Then right over there, one year found a deer that was down. I think some ass tried to poach it. Like the body, it had no head, so some jerk must have killed it and then went to harvest just the head and horns. Yeah, I'm not seeing the sign. Dang it. Yeah, I'll roll in some footage if I can find a picture of it on my stuff. But anyways, this is the turn that's going to take us to the river. It'll get us away from this traffic. So we might be seeing some squirrel activity here soon. Quite a bit of birds so far. Heard a couple gunshots, but I don't know if it's duck hunters. Bunch of birds in here. Alright, I'll be back when we get to the river. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. That's the river coming up. We're heading west right now. We hit the river. I'm going to make the 90-degree turn. But there's some steps here and there going down. You can feel that wind coming off the river. This is where I end up seeing a lot of squirrel. They're running more in the side next to the river. I don't know. I gotta get better at telling what my trees are, but I seem to really like this side. You'll see them scurrying through those trees. Maybe they're just trying to get down the river. We're a little bit further and then we'll sit. So this is sort of interesting. Obviously I'm retired now. Retired as a police sergeant. But where I worked, there is always ice flows on this river, and it comes down and the flows go and push everything all over the place. Well, quite a few years ago there was big ice chunks, and they actually went up over and went into a lowland cemetery in the city, and they started pushing everything around and knocked over just a ton of tombstones. Some were recovered, some weren't. A guy that I knew that lived in the neighborhood, he ended up passing away, and I was there on the call when he died. He had a gravestone that was back there, and they never did find that, so I think they ended up getting a new one. But stuff went up and down river, all kinds of places. Well, there is a graveyard here, but this part of the stone here, this washed up after that big ice, I want to call it ice storm. But when the river was had all the ice pushed down it, this actually showed up here. There's no markings on it. It just floated up and got deposited here. So, you know, no way of telling who it belonged to, but I'm going to guess it's from the cemetery there. But yeah, it just washed up. You'll see a lot of stuff every once in a while. You come down here after a big rain, or when the river swells up, you'll see stuff pushed up on here all the time. But that actually looks like it got pushed this way from the ice flows, so it was quite unique. But yeah, the ice flows actually took out the road down at that park to the point where it had to be rebuilt. They crushed the fence. There was pieces of the fence up at the repair area, and the street department had some of the fences. So yeah, it was pretty violent. But yeah, that was just one of the tombstones that floated back up here. Somebody attached some flowers to it. But yeah, this whole river was all iced up, and then we got some more snow, more rain, and then when the ice caps started thawing further upriver, everything else pushed down this way, and it was just a colossal mess. So there's my Browning Light 12 A5. I can't remember if I got this at Cabela's up in Michigan or Jakeway's in Bowling Green. It's a Belgium. Well used. Some rust spots. I was looking for one that I wouldn't be afraid to take out in the field, and this definitely was it. And it operates and functions perfectly. So this is the break in the woods. There's a bench here. It's usually where I cut in. This is like the halfway point. There's the river. So before I retired and I was on the job, I used to come out here and squirrel hunt, and sometimes just come out here. And I've come out here with other hunters, and you know, it's one of those things where you can bring people and enjoy it with them, but you always got to have a place to go by yourself, and you know, just reset, find your sanity, stuff like that. And that's this place for me. Someday I'll probably move down further south, Central Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia, somewhere in there, when she's ready to retire. But for now, this is probably one of the best we have in this area. You know, I'm thankful definitely to have it. Some places you don't even get areas to hunt. Well, yeah, you go further down south, you got national forests, state parks, all kinds of good stuff. And we have some parks around here, and we have some camping areas and cabins, stuff like that, but nothing like it is down south. But you know, I'll take this. And I've sat on this bench quite a few times and actually got a squirrel just sitting there. But yeah, this is what it's all about. Just find some kind of peace and reset. Still a decent amount of leaves on the tree, decent amount of vegetation. We got snow and we got some colder weather, but I wouldn't say we had our first frost or cold snap to kill everything off. I mean, it got cold, obviously enough to snow, but I think the coldest it got was 29, 28, somewhere in there, but just not enough. So they're still holding on. But usually right in there is where I go in, and I'll go in a little further and we'll make some coffee, and then we'll just sit in and see if we can't get some squirrels. But yeah, I thought I'd stop and show you guys this. So I sat in the spot for a while and nothing came of it, so I'm going to try one other one. It's really sort of quiet out here today. The wind's decently blowing, so I don't know if they're staying to the ground or not. But so far, I've only seen one red jimmy and birds, so we'll see if anything turns up. Hopefully you can hear me. It's not too windy, but I don't have an external mic yet, so I'm just running off this GoPro, which was not my standard camera. That was a Sony, an actual Handycam when I first started. I still have it, still use it. So this is sort of new for me, using the GoPro. And of course I forgot the tripod. So, doing the best we can. Try another spot up here. Two deer right there. Just had a couple guys running dogs. Scare up 3 doe. That's what I was trying to get you a shot of. 3 doe just went by. The dog, I guess he runs his dogs here all the time. He was telling me, I didn't get a picture of it, but the dog had like a little tracksuit on. Looks like a pink tracksuit. Keep it warm or something, I guess. So, but yeah, that was sort of cool. Now I can just find some squirrel. We were just on vacation down in Kentucky, West Virginia area, and we went a little earlier this year than normal and caught a lot of the fall colors. So that was really cool. Here there's some colors changing, but still a lot of green. Sounds like they're still trying to find their one dog. Haven't seen him yet. But yeah, still a lot of green here. So some goldens up there. Obviously it depends on what's in the forest. And like I said, I need to really work on tree identification. Get a little better at that. Alright, we're going to come around the bend here, trying to find a place to sit in. I've seen 2 stands, so usually that's why I try and come out during the week. It's a little better. Come out Friday or the weekend, you'll just have a lot of hunters. And the only downside is it's been a long time since I bow hunted, but I think during the first part you don't have to wear orange. Obviously, definitely during gun season or gun week. But you get out here squirrel hunting sometimes, and these guys will be up in the trees, and I don't know. Some of them will be wearing all the camouflage in the world and not a strip of orange, or even like a piece of orange string, something. So a lot of times you're looking up in the trees for squirrel, and you'll be swinging around, and here's a guy up there. So I'm real careful, and I try and come out when they're not here. But you know, in a way, I'll be honest, it does perturb me. I get it, you're trying to hide from the deer. If you don't have to, wear the orange, fine. But you know, there's lots of squirrel hunters in Ohio. A lot of guys come out early, get ready for deer season, check the area, check for signs, you know, get used to swinging the gun, you know, and if anything's hard to get, it's squirrel. So it's good practice. But yeah, you'll get guys up in deer stands with not a stitch of orange anywhere, you know, just to let you know. So I'm extra careful, but you're going to be coming around the bend. Eventually this bend widens out a little bit, and it butts up against a creek, and it will be the creek that you saw from the bridge. So that runs the length of it. But this sort of zigzags in for a little while, then opens up to a point. So we'll get there and see what's going on. Looks like someone is making a little overnight shelter or a fort. That's sort of cool. Neat. Somebody's spending a little time here. On a windbreak. Bench. And they're getting ready to have a fire. Cool. I think we'll stop here and have coffee. Give me a minute, I'll be back with you. Everything's pretty awkward in here. Which I haven't forgot the tripod. But I did, so here we are. Nice. The boom. There we go. So we're going to heat up this water. There's some coffee. So I got some Nescafe and some Taster's Nasty. Alright, see how this tastes. Yeah, it's hot. Alright, so far I haven't seen any squirrels. Just a red jimmy, 3 does, a dog. Alright, so I'm just taking a break. I'm sitting in this little area here. Gonna see if anything scares up. But this apparently is a little fort somebody made or something to sleep in. So that's sort of cool. Got my little kids morale items, which is coffee, some chocolate, jerky, cordage items, fire starting. I bring a tarp with me. Tarp, some cordage. If I do have lunch, I'm going with beef stroganoff. And this is Schwartz food from here in Ohio. This will be the first time I'm trying it. Supposedly really good and better made. Definitely packaged really well. So like I said, they're from Ohio. So So that's cool. So if I have lunch, that's what the lunch is going to be. But in the meantime, I'm going to take a break here, drink a little bit of coffee, and see if anything comes up. left the camera on. That's where rich people live. Jeez. Anyways, I left the camera on because I was going to show you one last thing. It's a bridge that goes over the river towards Tautogany, and it's a cool old bridge. So, seeing how I couldn't show you the old bridge except for in pictures, I figured I'd show you a bridge that's still standing. Coming up here. Oh, here's a raccoon that didn't make it. There's some shelters you can rent. This is Toledo Metro Parks down here. I think one down there you can rent it. There's a couple of them. That's where Sam Bananas went one day. It's pretty cool. It's like a shelter house with a fireplace, but you can actually rent it for the evening or however long. That's sort of cool. Not much longer. We're coming into the town here. Oop. Nice bump. Coming into town here, and then we'll go across, head over the bridge. I'll just show you that if you stuck around this long. Thanks. One thing I had to learn when I started making videos, obviously the shooting videos you can't really notice, but and it drives my wife crazy, and I don't know about other people, but I have a
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Mechanic Street.
terrible habit of whistling or humming to myself while I'm not doing anything. And it pretty much drives her bonkers.
In 800 feet, turn left onto North River Road.
You quiet your face. So it drives her bonkers, so I have to learn to not hum, whistle, do my annoying cough, nervous tics, so, and run off at the mouth. That's definitely something I do all the time.
Take the next right onto Mechanic Street.
So this bridge actually was cooler back in the day. They've since redone it. Used to be a big cage bridge. So again, they keep getting rid of the old and in with the new. And it's not like I'm 8,000 years old, but I do like the old ones. So that wasn't too exciting. I remember they took that bridge down a while ago, but I wish they had left it. But here we are. So until the next adventure, I'll see you later. Yeah, you just go ahead, lady. pretty quiet out here, except for me slurping my coffee. Got a bird behind me. Not much activity as far as squirrels go. Trees are fighting to keep the last of their leaves. But I think the wind is winning. But overall, it's nice and quiet. Pine tree looks like it's over there, maybe down. I might go over there and see if I can find some fat wood before I get out of here and head on out. Called for a couple squirrels, but I didn't hear anything back. There's these weird birds here. I don't know what they are, but sometimes they bark and they sound like squirrels. They drive you crazy. Just like squirrels drive you crazy during deer hunting, because they sound like deer. But got my call. But I haven't heard anything back yet. So I guess just enjoy the scenery. So this is the bend I was talking about, where it goes to the creek. What is that? Interesting. These are berries. I'm 100% sure what's going on here. I don't know if that's supposed to be somebody made a target. Or if it's a devil's head or what. Okay. There's the creek. And it runs in. Saw a heron a few minutes ago. No squirrels yet. Excuse me. Make a turn here. This nature cul-de-sac, I guess. See if we run anything on the way down. Not sure if this is bamboo. Looks to me like a big field of it. A lot of marshes in this area. I don't know. Anyways, no squirrels yet. Walking along the trail that runs next to the river. I just noticed that. Didn't know if that was bamboo. I don't think I ever noticed it before if it was here. It seems to be on both sides, and the river a lot of times flows over, so I don't know. You know, comment below. Well, saw one squirrel, but he was at a pretty good distance. And just as I was getting ready to go check on him and try and get around, my wife called. One of our puppers isn't feeling good. Might have a bladder infection. They're hoping it's nothing more serious. They're going to run some tests. He has an enlarged prostate. I think he's about 12. It's pumpkin, so hopefully that's it. They run some tests, find out. So hopefully it's nothing more serious than the same prostate probably every man over 60 deals with. So hopefully that's all it is for old boy. So prayers for a little punky. I don't see the squirrel, so, but I'll take the prayers. I'm going to take you over to the burial plot real quick, and most likely end up getting out of here. Yeah, that guy's gone. Alright, be right back with you. So here's the cemetery. I'll leave a link. There's a really good description from somebody online. They explain the story with it and who's buried here. Yeah, this is the side of it. And now I'll take you around the front. So it's a family sort of plot, I'm guessing, if I can remember correctly. But most people are really good and respectful. I don't ever see any damage or anything to it, so. But it is, just sort of out here. And this is just right off the trail. So, broken stones. I'll get a couple close-ups here in a second. So this is a cemetery here. It's just right off the path. It's been here as long as I've been coming here. I'll link to some information on it. There's an individual that talks all about it, and I believe, I'm not sure if it's more than one family, but the Edwards family, or part of it, is here. You can see here's the stones, broken stones, obviously from over time. Not sure if that's one. There's a small obelisk over there. And unfortunately nothing really on those stones there. unknown where all the pieces might be, scattered to the ends of time. But everybody's really good about respecting it. I've never seen anybody damage anything. The piling up of these stones looks like somebody did that recently. But I'll go ahead and get a close up here in a second. So I believe it's the Edwards family that's here, and I'm not sure obviously whose is whose except for this one, and I think it's Cynthiana, wife of David Edwards, died May 5th, 1859, aged 55 years, 2 months and 23 days. And some of these stones here have some markings, but you just can't read them anymore. So that one's pretty neat. I don't know if that obelisk was on here originally, but yeah, might have to come out here and clean this up. Yeah, that's the cemetery that's here. Sometimes come out here and there'll be flowers. So, but yeah, that's just right off the main path here. I remember the first time I saw it coming through here, I was just sort of floored by it. I didn't know it was a thing. So, but yeah, that's the cemetery. I believe they call it the Edwards Cemetery, but I think there's another family that was here too. But I'll link to that. And I think it's about time to get out of here. I'll be back again, obviously, but I am squirrelless at this time, but still a good time. And I'll see y'all in a minute. Well, we're coming back up to the bridge, going full circle. This is sort of like the no-fly zone. Usually when I get to this point here, a bunch of squirrels could probably jump out. I'd probably give them a pass. I mean, you can still legally shoot, but then you gotta stop, get them, clean them. And at this point here, it's really not advantageous. However, if I had a purpose for it, like I'll explain later in the car, then yeah, I'd probably go ahead and sit here for a little longer. Oh yeah, I hear you, tree. I hear you squeaking. Oh yeah. Sound like me when I get up every morning now. So here's the bridge, and us heading back. I'll just take you back over the bridge and get my stuff put up and get back with you. Yeah, I have to get pictures and put them on here. The other bridge was just, I mean, there's nothing, don't get me wrong. It's a cool bridge and it definitely has a purpose. But the other bridge was just pretty magnificent. You can see the old abutments. So yeah, it was definitely wider than this. But yeah, for the longest time there was no bridge. You had to go down the other end and just walk the circle. I imagine sometimes in the summer. I don't come out here too much in the summer. There's really nothing to hunt. And that's the reason I use this area. And you can't officially camp here. I know there's been people that have done their stealth camping, but it would be nice if there was a campsite area, maybe with just one or two, but yeah, it's not the case. So the GoPro, so far so good. I'll have to obviously hear how the audio is. I'm sure I'll have to get a mic eventually. But the only thing I'm not too happy with, it's not terrible, is the battery power. This is my second battery. I mean, it lasts. If you put it in standby mode, it's not too bad either. I mean, eventually I intend to get a different camera for other purposes as well too. You know, I mean, obviously not just for this, but I really would like a nice camera. When I was part of the photography unit at the police department, I think we had D50s at the end, and but we started on 35 millimeter. You had black and you had white. No, that was brilliant. You had black and white and color film, depending on what we were taking pictures of. Donnie Survey was an awesome photographer. Unfortunately, he passed away a little while ago. He taught me everything I know, whether I retained anything or not. But he had been a private photographer for years, and somehow got the gig with the PD years and years back. And it was hilarious because he used to come to our FOP dinners, and I'd see him, you know, on the calls and stuff, and eventually he trained 4 of us and turned the unit over to us until we actually disbanded. I don't even remember when it was. We were up and running for about 10, I want to say 10 or 15 years before we disbanded, just because by then every car had digital cameras and stuff, and we had gone digital, and the Detective Bureau had digital. So somebody got themselves a squirrel. So they basically felt there was no need for that. I don't know if I jumped there or not. On top of that, I think it's this guy over here. On top of that, there was basically no need for it, but when Donnie retired, the cool thing was he actually had a .38 caliber gun, pistol, revolver, and a badge that was issued to him from the department. So that was really cool. Well, this guy must have got a squirrel. He's walking a long way for it, but whatever. Well, I wonder if he had... Well, that would be sort of silly just to discharge it. But at any rate, I'll see you back up the car. Alright, so no squirrel, and that was a black powder. He was shooting a black powder shotgun, so that was sort of cool. Anyways, so first time here in the new truck, so that's cool. But what I was talking about before, I was talking about a possible plan. One of my ideas is whenever she gets, or whenever she's off again on their weekday days.
Turn right onto Old US 24.
Okay, quiet down. Hold on a second.
Continue on Old US 24 for 17 miles.
Okay, so no squirrels today, but that's alright. Still had a good time. What I was talking about was the plan is that when she has some days off, sometimes she's off during the day or during the middle week, sometimes she's off on a weekend. But anyways, what I want to do is camp at the camping site on the opposite side of here and come squirrel hunt earlier. So hopefully I can get some squirrel. That would be the idea, that would be my dinner. So that's what I meant by it would be a little more important at that time. So but it was a good day. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust this camera. It was a good day overall. Saw 3 doe, that dog, saw a heron, saw 1 squirrel at the very end. Like I said, that's when she telephoned me about Pumpkin, let me know what's going on with that guy and how he's feeling. So did not see him. But what I'll do is I'll put some links up about the cemetery. It is pretty cool. It's different, that's for sure. Like I said, you walk right off the trail and there it is. But that's pretty much it. I'm going to try and get another hunt maybe next week. Now that I'm retired, you know, just find days in between, you know, just working part-time just for the heck heck of it for some spending money. But, you know, don't have to work with my pension, but otherwise I'd probably go stir crazy. But it's also nice just to have some spending money. And the other thing is, you know, just now that I'm retired, it seems like you never have enough time. I guess when you're working full time, you figure out how to make time. But, you know, in between my welding projects, my woodworking projects, 3D printing projects, and laser cutting or laser projects now I've been doing, you know, and then just normal everyday life. Sometimes it's hard to find some time, but you have to. And this is only like I want to say this is only maybe like a half an hour, maybe a little less drive. So an hour round trip to come out here. So this definitely make it worthwhile. I've come out during muzzleloader for deer out here. I've come out, brought my bow before during the archery season. But usually when I come out here, it's for squirrel. And then obviously if rabbit opens up, don't haven't seen any rabbits out here. I mean, I know they're out here, but it's not as much. But anyways, thanks for coming along. Hopefully I'll be doing something sooner. I'm trying to find some type of range, if somebody has some land and stuff like that, so I can do some more shooting. You know, back when I was firearms instructor and actually the sergeant in charge of the firearms program with Sergeant King, you know, went to the range a lot. I was there waiting on people coming and going, and you know, got a lot of trigger time in, and most of those videos on my site were from there. Some of the old ones were original range. So, but yeah, I really not a giant fan of going to indoor ranges if I can avoid it, but I may have to. So, but I appreciate you coming along with me. Have any questions, drop them below. I'll try and put those links in like I said, and that's pretty much it.